Greetings, everyone. This is Wired Inspired Episode 4. I'm Eric Sable, Assistant Principal at Hall Middle School in Larkspur, California. We're honored today to be joined by Chris Long, who works down in Southern California. And also we are joined by another illustrious member of Team North Bay. She'll introduce herself.
Hi, I'm Katie Foster, Assistant Principal at Redwood High School in Larkspur, California.
Chris, first off, let's hear who are you, what do you do, and give us a little bit of context about your role and your work.
Okay, thanks, Eric, for having me. Really excited to join you guys. My name's Chris, and my background is I'm a high school physics teacher. So I have about 18 years of high school physics teaching under my belt, and during that time I've been involved always kind of with technology and using technology for learning. So it started out where I was the guy that teachers would go to ask questions, and then I had a release period at my school and then at the district, and right now I'm at the district level as a teacher on special assignment. In my official title is Educational Technology Coordinator, but we're a high school district in Huntington Beach. We have 6 comprehensive high schools, and we have about over 16,000 students and around 600 teachers. So in my role, I support technology and staff development for those teachers.
So Chris, I'm going to start with a question for you. One of the things that caught my eye on Twitter was when you said aim for the heart, not for the tech. And I was wondering if you could talk us through what that means in working with people who might be skeptical or fearful or tentative about implementing new practices.
Yeah, so kind of what I meant by that is I think what happens a lot with technology is we're trying to push the technology just for technology's sake. So here's an iPad, we want you to use it. We're going to get you a class set of iPads. Here's a Chromebook. We're going to get you a class set of Chromebooks. Here's an LMS. We want you to use it, and we leave out the why. And I think we always really need to go back and look at really what our I always go back and I look at district mission statement, and I know sometimes that those are politically worded or whatnot, but if you look at that and then you had to ask yourself, well, what's my mission? What's my personal mission here? And if you go back to the heart of like why most teachers are doing what they're doing, I think it's interesting, and you even challenge teachers to, hey, what if you had to write a professional mission statement? What is your mission going to be? What are you all about? And I think, by and large, I think most teachers, from what I've seen, they're there for kids. They want students to be lifelong learners, and I think we're all there for pretty much the same reason. So if you can start with that reason and then show how technology might empower you, or amplify your ability to achieve that, I think that's really powerful.
Thank you.
So, Chris, our audience today is going to include a lot of site administrators, possibly some district administrators, teacher leaders, potentially some teachers on special assignment, tech coaches, etc. So for all of us, as we walk out the door from today's Fall Q session, we want to hear from you. What are the 3 things we need to have in our coaching toolkit in your role as ed tech coordinator across a very large system? What are those 3 things that you can suggest that we have in our possession to go about doing our work in a way that's going to help bring about meaningful growth and change, and as our session gets at, to allow good ideas to spread?
Yeah, so my first thought on that is it's not about me as a person or or the administrator or any one individual, but it's about all the individuals kind of coming together and being on equal ground. So as maybe a tech coach or tech coordinator, whatever you want to call me, at my core, I believe that technology can help empower learning. So one of my primary goals would be to use technology in a way that brings people together, that establishes an environment or a culture where we encourage the sharing of practices. And I'm not even going to say best practices, because a lot of times what we can learn with technology especially is things that don't work, and how the things that don't work, we learn from that and they can make us better. So number one, establish that community where we're actually using technology to cultivate a community of sharing practices. Two, I think is roadblocks. You know, like I can't do this because, or we're working in a school district that seems like the larger the district, the more the red tape, and you have forms and you have policies and procedures and all sorts of stuff. And so, if my job is I don't have students, and I'm released full time to help teachers, I want to take care of all that stuff that the red tape, the things, maybe it's even access. They don't, I don't have any devices. How can I help them get access? How can we help find grants? How can we bring in professional development? So I think you want to do everything you can to remove roadblocks, because there's a lot of them. And then I think the last one is to encourage experimentation. So, and you do this by modeling it yourself, but also promoting it and helping other teachers do it. What's one thing that we can use technology for that we've never tried before? And it may fail, and that's okay. We're going to learn from it either way. But let's try to push the boundaries a little bit and use technology in a way that we haven't done before. And for each teacher, that may be different. But I think that's really important to get that it's okay to experiment. We have to experiment to move forward.
I love that idea of not best practices, but just sharing practice, because that's really what it's about, and that's going to encourage failure as an acceptable outcome, because we don't know if it's a best practice yet, if it's a new practice.
Well, and the other thing is, my best practice may not be best for you.
Right.
You may have at-risk students, and what I'm trying to do in my physics classroom isn't going to, that's great for me, but it's not great for you. But you can still get an idea of what I'm doing and modify it to be a best practice for you.
Mm-hmm. Chris, to bring closure to our conversation here today, which of course is opening doors to a lot of thinking, including me getting smarter by the second in talking to you and Katie here. What's your what are you most excited about for this year when you look at the landscape of your work? Some things that are underway, that are just getting started. What's something sort of in this realm of experimentation and growth and learning through failure that you're excited to get after in the upcoming months?
Well, okay, so one example is we just adopted an LMS, and this semester, the fall semester, we also changed our SIS. So the majority of my time up until about a week or so ago was all kind of the menial stuff that oh, how do I upload my grades? How do I do this? How do I, just procedural kind of stuff, that not the experimentation that I was talking about. So now I think we're in a spot where we've got everybody kind of on board, and you see some teachers that you talk about that SAMR model where you have substitution. I'm seeing some substitution there, but this was a teacher that that's a big step for them. So now what I'm excited about is okay, we have the capacity. We've had capacity that we have never had before. So probably the most challenging part, but also the most exciting part is okay, how do we move from capacity to awesomeness, and trying, like what I said, trying to use it in ways that we've never before, instead of just, I'm going to put a worksheet up here, and then the students can have access to the worksheet, or they can download the worksheet at home. How do we maybe have a class discussion, and we encourage kids to reflect upon their learning and share what they're learning, and learn from each other using these tools?
I think we have to wrap up this conversation, Chris. Thank you so much for hanging out with us today, and I look forward to maybe sometime meeting you face to face.
Yeah.
Flesh.
One more Twitter success story. Neither Katie nor I have met Chris in person, but we are hoping to change that in the near future. And for everybody in attendance today, we hope all of you will connect with Chris via Twitter and other means. Chris, awesome to meet you, and if I ever do decide to get into CrossFit, I'm absolutely going to be talking about that, because I'm going to need some guidance, that's for sure.
All right.
Bye.
Thank you.
Have a great day.